guys, today we are talking about a question we got from a viewer on how to pay off her credit cards. Hello guys, I am Tara and this is Mike, and we are experts at paying off credit cards. Several years ago when we were first married, we paid off $20,000 of debt in 5 years on $22,000 a year income with two kids, not 4 kids, 2 kids. And so we are credit card paying off experts, and it's beautiful when it's paid off, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, it feels great.
And once they're paid off, don't ever do them again.
Never again. Okay, we got this message from Bertha, and she says, we got this message from Bertha, and it says, we have $20,000 in credit card debt. We've been trying to pay it off, and we're transferring them over to 0% credit card for a while. We have stopped receiving 0% offers now and are paying more than $300 a month in interest. We owe $40,000 on our $120,000 home. Should we refinance and add the debt to our mortgage at 3% interest rate?
No.
Well,
Don't do that.
That was so firm.
You can refinance and put money in at a lower rate on your house, but unless you pay off your house in just a couple of years, you're going to pay a lot more on that.
You're going to pay a lot more.
You're going to pay a lot more because then you're financing that amount of debt in. It might seem like a lower rate, but it's for 30 years and it's compounded.
Yeah.
Annually? I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's compounded in a way that it's going to cost you more.
A whole lot more. So
it'll feel good in the moment, but it'll cost you more in the end.
Yeah. So my advice to her was, if you have another credit card, even if they charge you like a $75 fee or something, if you can get a lower interest rate, then go ahead and put it on another credit card. But after talking to her again, she says, we're making minimum payments only on our credit card. There is one card that has about $13,000 on it. It had been at 0% for a year and it just went up to 17.9%. We make about $52,000 a year. Our income fluctuates. We are self-employed. We have a daycare for 19 years. We felt called to homeschool our children, and God opened the doors for my husband to stay home and homeschool our 3 sons and help me run the daycare. We work about 10 to 12-hour days. But I have thought of doing something on the side, like selling baked goods or something like that. Thanks for your response. I have been watching you for a long time. Okay.
Wait. 2 people working 10 to 12-hour days.
$50,000 a year.
$50,000.
It's $8 an hour. I added it up.
So that's a big problem right there.
So this is where your problem is. You're making $8 an hour.
Which is less than minimum wage in most places.
You have got to get your income up to get this paid off. We did another video on getting your income up, but this is not a credit card interest issue, really. This is an income issue.
Honestly, I don't know what kind of help you need with the daycare, but if you could get your husband out of it and he could go get a job, even in most places, even a minimum wage job would pay more than that.
Yeah, and so what I would do, or what we would do in this situation is, husband needs to go back to work full time. He can homeschool in the evening if that's really important to you. And then you can stay home with the kids, and then you could go to work in the evening and get an extra income that way. But really, okay.
So it's unclear who's doing the homeschooling?
The dad is.
Gotcha.
And the mom's running a daycare. But here's the thing, guys. A lot of people, and I'm going to quote this because we get this a lot. It says, we felt called to homeschool our children, and God opened the doors for my husband to stay home. Okay. I'm trying to be delicate in saying this because I don't want to say that God didn't tell you to do this. But a lot of people use God as an excuse to do things that they want to do, and it's hurting them instead of helping them. And a lot of people will use the excuse, well, God opened the doors for us to homeschool. Well, I wouldn't exactly call this opening the doors to homeschool if you're not able to pay your bills.
Well, and we like homeschool.
And we're all for it.
What we would probably do in this circumstance is I would probably go get a job that's not that and then come up with a homeschool program where you have to check the things at night, but you don't have to be involved at every moment through the day. So we had a number of different kinds of homeschool curricula, and one of them was a number of them, we tried to move more towards the kind where sort of the kids self-paced with something online if you can afford it, but even if you can't, that, and then if they have problems in the evening, we can sit down with them and talk out.
Yeah.
What's the problem? How do we solve this? What did you need for help on that?
Yeah.
The thing is that homeschooling is always a difficult thing. It's always a time commitment beyond what you might be required to do. And so you may have to do a situation where it's working in the day and then some homeschool work at night, realizing that you're doing this for the kids. And especially if you think God's calling you to that, you could still support the family in a greater way, but then be able to provide for the school.
And here's the thing. You would only have to do this for a couple of years. So, I would say 2 or 3 years until, you don't have that much debt to pay off. Frankly, I think you could do it in 1 to 2 years.
How much was the total?
It was $13,000. Honestly, I think if Dad went to work and got a job at $50,000 and Mom was still doing the daycare at home, you could have that paid off in a year. And then he could come back if you guys want to get that paid off. But
is there anything you can cut to give yourself more room to be paying that off as well?
Yeah. So, but one thing I really want to stress, because we get this all the time, Christians use God as an excuse to do things that they want to do, and it's hurting them instead of helping them. And I truly don't think that that's from God. If it was from God, things would be working out to where you would be paying all of your bills, you would be at peace with it, and you would not be in debt, because the Bible's very specific that the wicked borrow and do not repay. The borrower is slave to the lender. God really hates debt. Now, he doesn't forbid it, because there's several places in the Bible where people have been in debt, and it may not have been your fault. I get that. I totally understand. It may have not have been your fault, but obviously the provision is not there, and you need to step up your income and go get another job.
Well, if you look at the Bible stories, when God leads people to things, he always makes a way for it to happen.
And provides for everything.
And so it may be that sometimes he says, do this, and then you have to sort of take a step in that direction before he provides. But if you take steps in that direction and there's no provision for it, it may have been that you misunderstood what he was telling you to do.
And working for $8 an hour after 19 years on the same business,
but again,
that's not good pay.
But again, the homeschool thing sounds like a great idea. I think just trying to figure out a way to make more money while then doing the other homeschool in a different time. And that might mean more of a sacrifice from the parent perspective, in that if I have to go do this job outside of the house and then come back and then do homeschool when I'm tired.
Well, they're already working 10 to 12 hour days.
Well, that's true.
So if he worked 8 hours, drove an hour, that's 9, and did 3 hours of homeschooling in the evening. Most homeschool takes 3 to 4 hours for all the kids.
Yeah.
So that would be the same hours for less headache.
So I would probably do that. And to be honest, I would probably continue that after you pay it off, because then you'd be making more money.
Yeah. And I would get an emergency, I would continue doing it until you get 3 to 6 months of living expenses at least built up before you start coming back. So anyway, we wanted to answer that question. I hope that helps some of you out there. Please visit us at livingonadime.com, and we will see you guys next time.